When I first tried to lose weight, I failed over and over again. Every diet felt like punishment and every slip up made me gain it all back. I honestly thought I would never figure it out and I was just gonna be stuck this way. But after hitting 20% body fat myself and helping hundreds of other guys do the same, I noticed something pretty wild, that we all get stuck on the exact same collection of problems. Once we fix those, for myself and my clients, fat loss got a lot easier. So in this video, I'm gonna break down the lessons that you only learn after reaching 20% body fat. And if I had to do it all over again, what I would do differently. So whenever I was a kid and learning to ride my bike for the first time, my dad took me out. I remember it was a church parking lot. It was completely empty because it wasn't a Sunday. And I was riding around and I figured it out really quick, but I didn't know that pedaling backwards caused the bike to stop. So I flew over my handlebars and I landed, I can't remember which side of my face it was, it has nothing to do with this by the way, but I landed on one side of my face and the entire thing looked like this, but everywhere. It looked like a pepperoni pizza, that's how I described it in a recent YouTube post. And this, I think, relates to your fat loss. Spoiler alert, today I know how to ride a bike. And so getting back up, I know it is cliche, but it is so important. It is the #1 factor that I see with my clients and that throughout my journey to 20% actually helped me make it this time. Failure along your fat loss journey is like learning to ride a bike. It teaches you balance, it teaches you. And these things, you actually, not that I want you to purposely fail, but when you have a slip up, that is part of the process, and enjoy it knowing that that's now behind you and you can learn from it. But that's what's key, is you gotta learn. All that really means is that something was too extreme for you or something was too hard. You weren't ready to be that person yet, but you will be. Point number 2 is the hidden killer, and that is saving your calories. Now remember, I was a person that lost a bunch of weight. I was struggling just like you probably are. So I bet all of us can sympathize with the idea of saving calories. Saving calories is kind of like holding your breath all week only to breathe more on the weekend. It doesn't work. You end up gasping for air. Never save your calories for the weekend or for a big event. How many times have you tried this? Let me know in the comments. How many times have you tried this? And has it ever worked for you? I will be honest, 1 or 2 times it did work out for me, but most of the time I ended up overeating because I was so hungry, and your hormones get all out of whack, the ones that allow you to eat a bunch more without the hunger signaling. It's ghrelin and leptin. Those 2 hormones, when they're out of whack, you're able to eat a ton of food. So if you bank your calories and you end up slipping up, I have this thing called the 24-hour rule, where for 24 hours, you must plan all your meals. You must hit all workouts, and you must hit your steps. Usually by the end of the 24 hours, you don't feel that guilt anymore. So that's just like a tip, but this has to do with saving your calories. What I think is a lot better to do is to intentionally let yourself go over for that day. So have a protein shake before the event, whatever it is, so that you don't eat as much at the event, and then just let yourself go over and move on. That is what's key. I promise it's not going to matter. You could go 1,000 calories over and you're really only 500 calories over if you're already in a 500 calorie deficit. You could go 2,000 calories over and you're gonna gain what, less than half of a pound in one day? You can lose that easily. So point number 3, the thing that I wish I knew, is that logging ends all guilt. So imagine this, you're driving down the highway, windows down, music blaring, you're having a great time, and your car starts sputtering. You had no idea that you were out of gas because you never looked at the gauge. Actually, this probably could have happened to some of you. That's kind of what happens when you refuse to log your food or step on the scale to get your body weight. You don't avoid guilt, you just delay the inevitable, and it ends up hurting much worse because now it's too late to do anything about it. So I think the thing to remember here is that you are bad at estimating. Not just you, me as well. We are bad at estimating. Let's just be honest with that and know that we have to log our food, or we have to restrict our food in some sense. That could be time restriction with intermittent fasting. That could be keto, which I'm not a big fan of keto at all. I'm pretty much anti-keto. Or that's controlling your calories, such as food logging and macro tracking. The next thing that I wish I knew was to protect my muscle at all costs. This is honestly probably the biggest difference maker when it comes to this time, how successful I was in my fat loss and actually keeping it off, is the amount of muscle that I'm now carrying compared to the times in the past that I tried to do that. I really like this analogy. Blockbuster, when they went out of business, they basically went out of business because of Netflix. And they didn't do that because Netflix was necessarily smarter. It's that Blockbuster was trying to protect their shelves and their infrastructure instead of protecting the core of their business, which was people that loved movies. Muscle is your core. And if you don't protect it, you will get outdated. You'll get overshadowed by all the things that are tempting you in order to eat. And so that's a loose analogy, but that's a pretty good one, I think, for protect what matters, and I'm telling you, it's your muscle. So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna lift weekly, and ideally that's 2 to 3 times a week, total body if you're just starting. You could do a workout split. Let me know in the comments if you want a free workout, I'll send it to you. And you're gonna eat enough protein. That goes back to the logging thing. You have to get roughly 1 gram per pound of your ideal body weight. Usually for people, viewers of this channel, it's gonna be somewhere around 200 grams. But if you're a woman, it might be something closer to 150, 140, something like that. The next thing that I wish I would have known is no days off, meaning no planned cheat meals, cheat days, anything like that. A good plan is like brushing your teeth. You don't need a day off from brushing your teeth just because it's simple, automatic, and makes you feel better. It's just a good plan. You just still do it anyway. So you need to eat good enough recipes, good enough food that you don't feel like you need a break from it. And that is where my recipe book really does come in handy. It's in the description, it's totally free. It is fire recipes. It is so easy to use. You don't have to measure cups and all that crap. So just get it. It's free and you're gonna love it. And the last thing I wish I would have realized is the big rocks, not pebbles. Imagine you're on the beach and you enter into a heaviest bucket wins challenge. You scoop in sand handfuls at a time as fast as you can. Your opponent walks across the beach, picks up 3 big rocks and puts them in the bucket. The rock bucket wins easily in like 30 seconds. Less effort, way more weight. That's exactly how calories, protein, and consistency beat all of the small stuff. And especially with social media now and everyone trying to be an influencer, I know that I've struggled with my weight, but I think that makes me one of you. And so I think that makes me more relatable. I have my degree in exercise science and kinesiology. I have been a trainer for 11 years. I have helped, go to my sales page, you will see it. I have helped hundreds of people lose thousands of pounds. It is crazy. And so I'm a legitimate expert, and I hate to toot my own horn like that, but with everyone out there who just is into fitness, starts putting out content, you start to get surrounded by pebbles, the things that just don't matter. That's things like fasted cardio versus non-fasted cardio, or organic versus not, or eat this, not that, and all this stuff. Really get enough protein, add weight to the bar over time, and make sure that you're in a calorie deficit, and I promise you will achieve everything. I would say for me, another big rock, or at least a medium-sized rock, is going in the gym and working out a lot harder and making sure to push all my sets really close to failure. That's something you might not have to worry about right now, but I did want to mention it. If you have found this channel, there's a good chance you have a lot of weight to lose. A lot of times when I work with people that are really big, and when they start trying to run, it just derails their program. So I made this video right here about why walking is better for running for people that have a lot of weight to lose. If you watch that and you do that, I think you're gonna succeed.